I found this nice piece of red oak in my stash. It's got this old finish on it, front and back. It's kind of rough. Don't really like the look of it. It's got that sort of honey oak color that was really popular back in the 90s. So we're gonna run this thing through the planer, get it cleaned up, and we'll go from there.
We'll give this thing a quick sanding with a 120 grit on the belt sander to clean up some of these planer marks and just smooth it out. I call this the dust deleter. Next, we'll cut this to rough length. And then it's over to the table saw to clean up the edges. So if the table saw was cleaning up the edges, I suppose this is cleaning up the cleanup? And next I decided I could probably use a good workout, so I made these quick sanding blocks, and I worked through the 150 and 180 and 220 grit. Got real dusty. I always like to do as much sanding before the glue up as possible. It's way easier to sand this flat stock than try to sand it after it's all assembled. Do you ever have an idea? It seems like a great idea, and you spend about an hour executing on that idea, only to realize that was a stupid idea. Yeah, this should have been my first clue right here. But no, I soldiered on with the bad idea. Got it all nicely sanded, glued it on, glued up the sides, clamped everything in, and realized that that thing is ugly and stupid. So I chopped it off. Figured now's as good a time as any to cut this thing to final length, and then I can try to delete my mistake. And with that embarrassing idea in the rearview mirror, it's time to figure out what to do about these holes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dado blade and I'm just going to cut 2 slots. So these will basically end up being drain holes, and the slots will make it look like they were intentional. I thought maybe I'd do 3 or 4, try to make it look a little more symmetrical, but I decided 2 will be fine. So let's get that dado blade installed and we'll cut the dados. I took my time with these dados to make sure that the holes lined up exactly in the bottom of the dado channel. It worked out pretty good. These cutouts will keep the tray aligned in the sides of the bathtub so that it doesn't fall into the water. My first attempt was to cut these by hand with the coping saw, and I wasn't too happy with how clean those cuts were, so I took it over to the table saw and finished the rest with the dado blade. Next, a quick dry fit to make sure this thing actually fits the bathtub. Those cutouts line up perfectly on this side, and they're a little loose on that side. But overall, it works great. I had this little offcut, and I thought this would be a great test piece for my finish. Red oak takes a stain quite nicely, but I still wanted to just double check that it was the color I was looking for, and I was pretty happy with it. So went ahead and applied it to the rest of the unit. Slap a quick clear coat on there, and boom, she's done.